Good morning. Hello, everybody. It is umbraCoffee episode 299. Yes, we are 1 week away from episode 300. Love that Rick's saying in the chat. It's amazing that episode 300 is going to be at UK Fest. I agree. And it's not like
you planned it.
Not like we had to pull any strings to make that happen. If you last saw us on Friday, there's been an extra episode since, but we don't talk about that. It was actually an episode we wanted to do for a really long time, so it just conveniently fell into place. But anyway, good morning, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, busy week for you, I guess.
Yes.
Or a big week. Maybe not super. We were just saying before we went live, maybe it's these kind of launches are perhaps a bit different to say a new website going live when it's a product that's maybe tried and tested. But we'll go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, episode 300 next week. For those that will be at UK Fest, you get to see it live. For anyone who's not, it will be live streamed here. Do not worry. Let's dive into some of the news this week. I was going to start with releases because it just feels kind of natural, and then we can then talk about some of the more exciting things going on. So Umbraco 12.3 was released, and I asked Matt before we went live this morning, do you know what was in 12.3? And we both said no. So this is going to be good. And I've done a bit of reading, and it looks like it's mostly delivery API updates as well. I think V12 is shaping up to be the delivery API version. So we've got member auth for the delivery API, and we've got previews now supported in the delivery API as well. This is in release candidate stage, target for releases next week. So you've got not that long to go away and test it and make sure it's all good. But yes, as we've always said on umbraCoffee, if you don't test it, you can't complain when it breaks when you launch. So yeah, everyone go test 12.3. A couple other things from this week. We've had the pensions regulator, so Rick and his team, do some really awesome work with Umbraco stuff. And one of those things is they built a Gov UK block list set of components, so you can reuse the Gov UK components. And they've now released an addition to that, which is their testing library, and allows for mocking all of those different objects and things as well. So you can create full tests for your Gov UK components, which is very lovely. So well done, Rick and team. And they've released a little update to the front end bits for that as well. So I'm excited about that release. We tried to get him on umbraCoffee at one point to show it off, and he said he wasn't quite settled yet in terms of the product. So maybe one day. A little update from Matt Wise on the CSP Manager front. So he's released a new version of CSP Manager that supports report URI and report to headers, I believe. So you can now just set those, which is really nice, and a couple of bug fixes in there as well. And I think this might be one of my favorite packages in a little while. So it's a nice dashboard for managing your SMTP settings in the back office directly. And I like this for two reasons. One, it's nice to be able to change stuff without having to change config necessarily. But two, it's very difficult to know what your SMTP configuration actually is when you're running the site, and being able to go here and see this is the exact config I'm using right now is really handy. So this one comes from Dennis and team. It's a pretty nice addition. So that was it from the packages front, let's say. But that's not to say that's the only release this week, Matt. We've, of course, had the announcement. Was it Wednesday?
Yep, it was.
Fantastic. So on Wednesday, it was finally revealed that the new name for Construct is UI Builder, Umbraco UI Builder. We had a call last week, didn't we, Matt? And you just kind of subtly mentioned UI Builder. And I was like, hang on, rewind a second.
I forgot who I was talking to.
You're lucky it was after umbraCoffee, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Little did you know we had an extra one coming. But,
I didn't.
So yeah, this was announced. Umbraco UI Builder is here. This is the artist formerly known as Construct, now within the Umbraco HQ family, and a nice logo, perhaps stolen from the US Summit. Very similar.
It is similar, but it's different.
It's quite a different. It's different to all the other logos, isn't it?
Yeah. There's also how many ways can you make a U out of the Umbraco symbols? So yeah, I think it works. I like it.
I like it too. And then basically summarizing a summary of all of the features and the products. So anyone in the chat, of course, you can put your questions in and ask. We'll make sure we discuss those with Matt as we're going. But what's new, Matt? What's the deal with UI Builder?
Similar vein to what we did with Umbraco Commerce, really, in terms of this is really just a rebrand of the original construct, and the goal now is that that's a base on which we can build new features. So we haven't particularly got anything new since construct, but really it's just the stake in the sand type thing. So we've had lots of people asking what's going to happen with construct. Is it still going to be maintained and looked after? So I think this really is just that signal to say yes, we're serious about this as well, and this is what the plan is. I
think I was seeing maybe a tweet every week or two from someone going, is it available for 12? Is it available? It's like, no, but of course now it is. And is my understanding correct that this is available for 10, 11 and 12, or 10 and 12?
It'll be 10, 12. So we target 10 because that's the current LTS, so we want to make sure that we support that. But yeah, it'll be 10 and 12 and then 13 when that comes along.
So there's no official support for 11, or does it work on 11?
Haven't tried it on 11. It might work on 11. The marketplace always seems to say that it does work on 11 if you say 10, but hey.
11's one of those weird versions, a bit like 9, that kind of didn't.
Yeah.
It was over and done with too quickly, I think.
Yeah, it was quite short-lived, and I think the move from 11 to 12 is barely it's not a big move. So I can't see a reason for anybody really staying on 11.
Indeed, yeah, exactly. So so it's here for current Umbraco, which is awesome, and you can do all the same stuff you were used to before. So that's the custom tree with your different elements or entities in them. And let's quickly, because it's going to come up, talk about licensing. I don't want to get into the pricing argument, because that's not really what you're here for. And as you said to me on Slack, kind of above your pay grade, it's not your responsibility. You're now just the product guy.
I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, nice position to be in. But one of the really valuable things before was the free for one collection feature. And is that still here with the new?
It's still here. Yep. So you can still use one writable collection. So if you've got read-only collections, you can actually have multiple of those. But if you've got one that you want to edit and manage data of, then you can have one editable collection.
So if it's just displaying information that's living in a database table, that's completely free to do with Construct. With UI Builder. Yeah. Fantastic, and only one editable one. That's good. I think that's still pretty generous and covers most of the use cases. So
yeah, good. It was always a nice into the product, and one of the reasons it's probably taken this long to release is just trying to explain to the marketing team what it actually does. So it's so hard trying to explain what it is. So again, this is a nice feature in order for people to actually try it, put it in a project and use it. And then I think it's one of those when you get an aha moment of what it's doing, then you realize
most of the other Umbraco products as well. It's the first developer product, actually develop a targeted product. Forms, deploy, workflow are all kind of plug and play. Even commerce to an extent, you can install it, you can start building out a store, you can do everything in the back office. Here, it's code. It's code first. You have to write code to make this work. But the amount of time that this saves compared to building and then maintaining, upgrading, etc., your own stuff is.
Yeah, and that's going to be super important when you start to think about V14 coming down the line. So anybody that's doing custom back office integrations right now, if you're building it yourself, you're building it in Angular, and when V14 comes along, you're going to have to rewrite all of that. But again, this was why we wanted to make sure we got it out before 14, was to make sure that we've got this tool that allows you to do those back office management things, and we'll deal with the front end migration. So hopefully all of that configuration that's necessary for just setting it up, like quite a short config, but hopefully that should just work on V14 but we'll see what comes along. But it'll be, even if it's not just like works out of the box, it'll be a hell of a lot less work to get that on 14 than having to do your own.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Again, looping back to the licensing thing in the same topic.
Yep.
My understanding with the construct licensing before is it was similar to vendor, where it was tied to the major version basically, or upgrades for 12 months. So you're basically tied to a major version. The new license model is subscription based. So in theory, as soon as 14 comes along, you could just upgrade UI Builder. Your license would still be valid for that version, and no additional to pay there other than the kind of the recurring license fee.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much where we're going with all of the Umbraco products, is trying to make them more subscription based. So this is the same. There's a few options in terms of licensing. So there's the agency license, which should hopefully make it easier for agencies, because again, I see it as one of those tools, as once you realize what you can use it for, you'll probably see that you can use it on quite a lot of projects. So the agency licensing is, you pay an agency license and you can install it and use it on as many websites as you're building as a company. The other nice thing is it's going to be free on the standard and up levels of Umbraco Cloud. So if you are using Umbraco Cloud, then that's going to be there, available, free to use for those pricing plans.
That's fantastic. I did have a question on that, which maybe isn't for you. I'm just going to put it out into the ether and hope someone listens. So I think that's great. Bundling these products with cloud just makes the cloud offering so much more compelling, and it makes total sense. We already get forms, you already get deploys, so getting UI Builder in that as well makes sense. My question is this: why not workflow? Or if workflow is the case that I didn't know about it, why not workflow? Like why can I not just get everything? And secondly, I understand that, so it is free for those sites, but you have to request a license. And the justification, I think, in the blog post is we don't want to be issuing licenses for stuff people aren't going to use. But you already do that for forms, which ships with cloud, and not everyone uses forms. So I'd love to know. There's barriers there that don't need to be there.
Workflow, I don't particularly know. The latter is probably because all the new products work on a different licensing model, licensing system compared to the old forms, and we haven't fully set up the automated side of it. So I do actually think that could be something that
symptomatic of technical debt, or whatever you want to call it at this point. That's good.
So
I thought it was interesting that, again, deploy, forms, and workflow to an extent are user focused tools. And this is a developer focused tool. So it would make sense to say, oh yeah, you can pay, or you can request a license for this, but why not bundle workflow, for example? I don't know.
I think workflow is a more interesting one, because that probably is getting more towards the enterprisey projects where it's more useful. Whereas this, like UI Builder, for sure.
There's a nice free tier on that one as well, isn't there? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just throwing these things out into the ether. It does feel like we've got a little bit of a disconnect right now with the different products and the different pricing models and the ways you have to ask for licenses and that sort of stuff. But I'm sure it will get there. Anyway, enough talk about licensing. We promised we wouldn't do it, Matt, and I'm sorry. Maybe we can have a look at it. You say it's not changed that much, but it'd be cool to see this in action.
Yeah, I'll show a demo, and I'll show the demo project. But I won't talk too long, because if you actually watch episode 209, that's when I demo construct.
Is that really? Was it 90 episodes ago that you came on? Wow.
Let me share my screen. Okay. Is that sharing? Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
So if I look over here, that's because I'm over here with my other screen now. But hey, so yeah, the demo that we have, so this is all on GitHub. So this is just the showcase project, and it's the same as what we had for Construct. So we've got this example of a blog, and more the use case for UI Builder is user-generated content, so stuff that wouldn't be CMS-driven content. So the example is comments on blog posts. So yeah, if I went into one of these, we can see blog post comments at the bottom. And all of this is going into a database table. So it's just using npoker that comes with umbraCo out of the box to put it into database tables. But then you want to expose that. You want to be able to manage that within the back office. So this is what we've got in the demo. And this does quite a nice job in showing a few different areas. So we've got dashboards that we can use. So we can create dashboards that appear in sections to present content. So you can manage content from here. So for this example, the root of a content node is quite a useful place for just showing pending comments across all different blog posts. On the individual blog posts, we've got content app style set up. So this shows all the comments that are just for that particular piece of content. And then we've got the bigger use case, which is creating a whole repository section. You can define the whole tree, you can put more stuff on there, and then you can have like more like the same all configuration just to set up a management UI for that particular data. And again, briefly, just to show the code that generates this. So this is the code base for this project. And essentially, this is the type of config that sets all of this up. So all we've got is a nice Fluent configuration. We define properties, we build collections, we create trees, we define what the list view should look like, we define how the editor is made up, and it's all done with like Lambda expressions. So it's all strongly typed, and essentially that just tells UI Builder for this property, use this editor, and UI Builder does all the magic behind the scenes to kind of tie all that up. So yeah, nice little config. That's all you need to write. You don't do any front end stuff, and all of this stuff just gets generated. So as I say, this is the demo, and you can grab this on GitHub now, but I won't go into a lot of detail. I'll just say watch episode 209 if you want a bit more background on that. But a nice, interesting one. So I want to give a real world example of a use case for this. So if you've heard of the new FYI thing, so the newsletter that I've been building on the side, I know you've had this problem. I know Janae and all the team at Scrift have this problem, which is curating content and pulling all of that together. So when I was working on putting FYI together, I was trying to come up with a way of how can I aggregate all the news in one place. And so I've created a media hub site. I won't go into a lot of detail on this either, because I want to do an virtual about how all of this works, because I think it's quite interesting. But essentially, I've got a Hangfire task or a Hangfire setup, which is using Sebastian's package, and a bunch of tasks that pull in data from various different sources. All of those get pushed into a database, and then you're in the position of, well, how do I manage that data that's in that database? How can I see what's in it? How can I manage it, edit it if I need to? And so this is exactly the use case for UI Builder. So in here, I pull all the content in. You can see I've got all the content that's been scraped and pulled into this particular database. And I've instantly got a view. Oh, look, there's my episode. So I can see all the content that's in there. I can edit it. So if I want to tweak any of this that's going to be displayed in a feed, I can do all of that and categorize all of that. So splitting things up as well into different collections. And then even if you've seen me promoting all the tip stuff in terms of replying on Mastodon and in Discord, all of that's got to go somewhere as well. So this also goes into a database table. And again, I've just used UI Builder to create an interface for me to actually see those tips being recorded. And so again, the config for this is something like this. So here we've got all of that being pushed into a database table. and we essentially build a section, and we've got 3 collections, one for news, one for events, one for tips. News and events are actually the same model. So I've just got a helper method here, which configures some common setup. So the list view, the editor, that's all the same, but we've got a few things which are different. So in this, we filter out events, and in this one, we filter that we only want events, and then we do a different sort order on those as well. But yeah, essentially, nice little fluent configuration. And all you do is define all of that, and then I've instantly got this UI for all of that. So yeah, just saving a heck of a lot of time of finding a way to manage all of that in the back office.
That's lovely, and again, fantastic use case, as you say, solving a problem that a number of people in the community do have, and I know you're working on some stuff that will make that even more awesome. So
yeah,
that's great. We look forward to seeing that. Yeah, really powerful example. I can easily translate this to stuff we've built custom for our clients. Like it looks and works in the exact same way. So this would be a massive time saver for us, I'm sure. Awesome. Okay, so UI Builder. What's next, I guess, other than the new back office?
Yeah, we haven't officially set a roadmap yet. V14 is obviously going to be the biggest one, but we're already having interesting discussions with people. One that we had just yesterday, so I can't commit this would or when it would happen, but like we don't currently support many-to-many tables, but that really is a common pattern, so that would be a really useful thing to have. Equally, because EF Core is now in Umbraco, it makes sense that we could offer that as well as like a base repository. So the original was built around MPOCO, which was the persistence layer that, and still is the persistence layer predominantly used by Umbraco itself. So that's where we built around that as being the baseline. But because EF Core is coming in, I think it also makes sense to do that, which also means bringing async in as well. So making all the repositories asynchronous. So they're very much the areas that we're looking at. But yeah, by far, V14 is going to be the biggest one next on the roadmap.
Yeah, as you said earlier on, that is ultimately where the value lies at this point if you're building something custom. I was going to ask on that note, could package devs be utilizing Construct to build elements of, using UI Builder to build elements of their packages, and how does that work in regards to licensing? I guess you just need a UI Builder license.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. Like an interesting thing a while ago, so somebody built a reviews package quite a while ago for vendor then. And in theory, all of that could be built within UI Builder. So it's like, is there a way of sharing those configurations potentially that we could have out-of-the-box configurations or packageable, shareable configurations for particular use cases, which could be quite interesting, I think. So that to me would be an interesting packaging perspective.
That is an interesting idea, and I'd also be keen. Again, this is not really your wheelhouse, but I'd be keen to see what in regards to say licensing can be done around that. If there's a way that a package would have a slightly more generous license or a permissive license for other people to, I don't know. But it's very awesome. Thanks, Matt. And I was going to ask, final question: do you need to get a new hoodie now?
Yeah, I know. Construct for life for me.
Very good. Fair play. All righty. Well, yeah, we have the blog post. The link will be down below, of course. You can read all about the changes, including the new licensing, the prices, and how to get up and running. Of course, as always, share your feedback with the HQ team. I'm sure they'll be happy to receive it. So, yeah. Thanks, Matt. That looks really cool. I was going to move on and just go through some event stuff quickly, if that's all right.
Yep.
It's no surprise that UK Fest is a week today, November 2nd and 3rd. It's been a stressful week, I won't lie, but more than I'd expected. But yeah, we'll be. I think we're all in a good place now for next week, which is great. Of course, you can go onto the website. You can see the full schedule of talks and who the speakers are. And yeah, I'm getting very excited. Matt, you'll be speaking.
Yeah.
Not about UI Builder though.
No, headless commerce.
Headless is a big trend this year. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 talks on headless and composable architectures and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see people there. If you're going, let us know in the chat. It would be awesome to say hi as well. And I can reveal this. It's fine. It's my own show. We'll have some exclusive umbraCoffee gifts in order to celebrate episode 300 and hitting 300 episodes. Which,
Nice.
if you aren't subscribed, you will not be allowed to get. So please subscribe. I think we're still floating around that 950 mark. But yes, lovely to see Sebastian there, Owen there, and some others I know in the chat as well. So that's cool. Of course, you can also, if you're there on the Thursday, sign up to the hackathon. There is a sign-up link that everybody yesterday should have received, maybe even twice, because email's hard, and mass email's quite hard to do. And you can sign up and fill the form in, and you'll be in the loop. It'll be awesome to see as many people as possible there. And a little exclusive for you. For those that are attending the hackathon that aren't going to attend, say, the Partner Summit, the Umbraco London crew are helping to organise some kind of social before, or after the hackathon and before the official pre-party that's being co-hosted with Umbraco HQ. So you can sign up on Meetup. There'll be a link down below as well for that one. Just hopefully we see as many people as possible there. Couple of interesting meetups coming up as well. Unza is going to have Ken doing a talk on the delivery API and how you'd actually use that in the real world, which is exciting. Kind of wish I could attend this one. The Minneapolis meetup is back on November the 8th. This is the first time since, October last year. Or September last year, they did have one, but it hadn't really been a thing since before COVID. So it's great to see this one back. And also the Dutch Umbraco user group is having their quarterly meetup hosted by Perplex and UMarketing Suite on November 16th. That's not all. We've got an Umbraco Leeds meetup on the 9th, Manchester on the 16th, Oslo and UmBristol both coming back on the 22nd as well. So everyone trying to get all their meetups in before the end of the year, it seems. So much going on. Matt, you teased earlier potentially sharing some other stuff at a meetup at some point, maybe in...
Yeah. Umbraco Virtual, I'm quite interested in doing some more, like sharing some bits on there. And I think the FYI stuff, there's a lot that's gone into that that's really quite interesting to share and know about. So I'm looking forward to working out a time frame to do that. I think it'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned MFI. Let's talk about that, because it's been 3 weeks? Are we into the third or fourth week?
4. I think we've done a full month now, October.
Exciting. Yeah. So yeah, what's the plan? I mean, you kind of started it as like, this would be fun to do, wouldn't it? And then
it came out of I think it came out of one of your episodes where you had a few community members on, and they were saying they were struggling keeping track of news.
We've been struggling to aggregate it now, given that the community is just so spread out.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure we're all doing similar things in terms of how we get our news. So I just thought it'd be quite interesting to pull that together. And if you know the TLDR newsletter, which is a tech newsletter, it does a daily one, which I can't keep up with a daily. But I thought a weekly newsletter could work quite well for Umbraco as well, of just staying on top of news. So yeah, I do what I usually do, which is just build it and just make it happen. I'm not saying it's the most robust thing in the world, but at the moment it's still working, and we're seeing some nice signups on it. So all it is just a weekly newsletter with all the things that have happened in that week. So if you are struggling to stay on top of what's happening, then you can just have it delivered straight to your inbox.
Very nice.
So there's some interesting stuff that's been done this week. So I've added an archive page to the site, and I've also added an RSS feed. Yeah.
The previous things.
Yeah. So RSS feed. So if you're not the type of person that likes email, there's an RSS feed on there now, and you can get the RSS feed instead.
Nice. And 2 things I wanted to mention. The first is when we had our chat last week, you said there's been some under the hood changes, quite a lot of under the hood changes, that you've swapped out the mailing provider and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
As well. So not just the stuff that's visible to people.
No.
You've been putting a fair amount of time into it. The other thing was you mentioned about RSS feeds, and you briefly showed off your aggregator there.
Yeah.
And I understand you're encouraging people to add RSS to their, or a way that you can scrape content basically to their.
Exactly. this is, if you've seen me on Mastodon of late, essentially I just reply to everybody asking them to put their blogs on the on the community blogs list. And I think this is the thing, like we know that content is distributed now, it's all over the place and harder to track. So I think having a way, whether that's RSS or something that's machine readable, just makes it so much easier for us to try and aggregate and pull all of that content together. We've managed to do a heck of a lot of blogs, a lot of video streams, all the podcasts, even the RFCs and the announcements, GitHub repos. So I'm trying to find as many different sources as possible to pull content from. And so, yeah, the way anybody can help, there's two ways people can help. Make sure if you are blogging that you've got an RSS feed and make something exposable so that we can do that and add it to the community blogs list. Or if you're out and about, use the tips mechanism. So if you go to um.fyi/tips, there's a few ways that you can do tips, whether that's on Mastodon, on Discord, or even just by sending an email. And that's just more for the conversation stuff, so the really hard stuff to try and keep track of. But interesting stuff is happening all the time on Mastodon and Discord, discussions that are quite good to know. So it's, if people can, when they come across those, tip them back to FYI, then hopefully that'll help raise those interesting topics.
Yeah. And I was going to ask after our chat the other day if maybe like a nice Chrome extension or some, again, just something always a click a button that just raises the tip with you as a.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I was having a chat with Sebastian today thinking, oh, maybe I should put like a thing on the front of the website, like you get customer chat. So maybe there should be a little icon on the website, and maybe we should make a bookmarklet. We're doing all the 90s stuff. We're bringing bookmarklets and RSS back.
Yeah. And Cornet just mentioned IRC, so yeah. Definitely firmly in that. Oh, cool. That's good. I've just in the sea of this last month. I've actually not subscribed to UmFYI yet, but I will. I'll make sure I do. So, good way to keep up with the news, and you're doing our job for us, Matt. It's great.
Yeah. I know how hard it's been for you all. So if this can help anybody, and the one thing I haven't mentioned, and I'm reluctant to share this yet, but on the UmFYI site as well, there is a Firehose endpoint. There's a Firehose page. So links on the bottom if you look at Firehose, and that's basically the stream as we get it. So it's not filtered. We haven't checked everything. There's going to be some spam stuff in there, but if you really want to see everything that's getting collated, you can. But we still have the RSS feed for the actual newsletters, which is a bit more filtered and curated and what have you. But for other people, if anybody else wants to do any news-based stuff within the community, then those feeds might come in useful.
Very nice, very handy. Thank you, Matt. Talking about news articles, 24 days in Umbraco. Obviously, we are crazy. A month away from December at this point. We are very, very close. So the deadline for getting your submissions in to write for 24 days is the 1st of November. That's this coming Wednesday. So make sure you go to the link that will be down below. Fill the form in, write an article. Of course, it's always a nice surprise every year to see who we get. I've been lobbying a couple of people to apply and to write, and I know Jan and team have been as well. But yeah, make sure you do this before Wednesday. Another deadline that's been extended is the Umbraco Sustainability Challenge, which was discussed on Tuesday's episode in mark of the International Day of Climate Action. And it's been extended until the 1st. So again, this coming Wednesday, you have until then to apply. And the discussions that have been had, it's just, you can kind of do anything. It's just about showing and proving that you can make enough of an impact or make a significant impact, and they'll judge you for that. And I've got a banner as well, a world exclusive. Oh, that's not quite as dramatic as I hoped it would be. I've been told I can tell you what the prize is for the challenge as well. So the prize is an Umbraco branded bike.
Nice. So
if you want to be in with a chance to win an Umbraco branded bike, you have to take part in the sustainability challenge. So you've got until Wednesday to apply. good luck. I fixed a memory leak this week in a website that's been killing us for about a month, and it turns out it's an issue in Umbraco, so I will be raising an issue. But I think Sebastian said to me, "Oh, you just apply to the sustainability challenge and tell them what you've done." We'll see. Final couple of things. We have a new video from Paul Seal this week on how to implement custom error pages in Umbraco 10 and above. He wrote an article on this back at the start of this month, so this is the video to accompany it. Really nice video. Well done, Paul. One of my favorite articles I've read in a while, actually, from Cornet, is the how to add your own app settings schema in your packages to make configuration nicer and easier. It's not something that's been documented too well or spoken about too much, so really like this. And for Cornet, he works on a big product, and it makes sense that they would ship this sort of thing. So yeah, well done there, Cornet. And last but not least, we have a pull request of the week again. Thanks to Michael Latush, he's been sharing with us the some tips and hints just before. This is one of my favorites. This is a pull request from Lucas Bisgaard in Denmark, who has raised a fix for when you invite a user through the CMS and then they click on the link, it effectively invalidates the invite link at that point, and the invite button disappears from the user in the back office. There's been no way to re-trigger sending a new invite email, so you kind of have to do some, well, generally go in and set the password for them and tell them what the password is. This fixes that. It changes it so you can reset the invite. So I think this is fantastic. So well done, Lucas. This is my pull request of the week this week. And that was the news. That's everything. I hope I caught everything. It's been a busy week, like I say. So if we did miss something, please let us know in the chat. Every link we discussed today will be down below. Anything else you want to say, Matt?
Nope. See you all at UK Fest next week.
See you all at UK Fest. Absolutely. I said last week, we're closing on Wednesday. We won't be making any exceptions. And guess how many messages I had on Thursday morning go, oh, see the tickets. Yeah, anyway. Be good to see people next week. It is the biggest community event this year, confirmed, which is good. So I look forward to seeing people there. Hopefully we can have some fun. Your talk's all prepared, Matt? I think you did it.
Yeah, I might need to do some more practice runs just to remember.
Yeah,
but yeah, all ready.
Fair enough. Amazing. Okay, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Episode 299. Next week's a big week, 300. Can't wait for that. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed this, and of course, we will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone, and goodbye.